Dear friends, welcome to my video. In this video, I will tell you all about callback functions in Simulink. So there are two types of callback functions. One is the model callbacks and another is block callbacks. So you can also refer to that in the help documents of the Simulink. The model callbacks is the callbacks which is executed during the at the model level. So let me show you that. First, let me create a new Simulink model. I select this untitled. Yeah. So before I proceed, let me save this. I'll just say callback function in Simulink. Yeah. So callback function in Simulink is what we are going to learn in this video. To explain this, I'll take a very simple example. Say for example, we want to design an equation in this Simulink which is equal to ax plus b equal to y. This is our equation, and the values of these parameters a, b and x, we will play with the callback functions to define these values. Before I proceed, let me show you one thing. So callback functions are basically in the model properties in this in the file menu, model properties. Go to this model properties option, and then over there in the new window you will see 2-3 options. The second tab will be the callback tab, and inside this callback tab you can see on the left hand side Simulink provides around few types of callback options which you can choose from. So say for example, you can choose from preload, postload, init, a start function and all those things. So let's first understand the classification of this callback function, which is very nicely given in this help documents. So the way this Simulink classifies its callback parameters are model loading and closing callbacks, which is nothing but preload and postload and close. Model saving callbacks, which is nothing but these two, pre-save and post-save. And the last, the model simulation callback parameters, which is init function, a start function, pause function, continue function, stop function. Okay, so you can of course go through the details in the help document in your Simulink environment. So let's minimize this and do something in our MATLAB. So first let me design this equation in our MATLAB Simulink. So I will have a sum block. I just need signature, but probably I will change it straight from round to rectangular. And I need two things. One thing I need is constant block to define this b, and also I will need one constant block to define my a, and for x I'll use the gain block. So and I will define it as x. So if you notice, I use all these as variables, and the values of these constants and gain block. So yeah, probably I will just zoom it here. Let me bring this on the top. Yeah, perfect. So and probably here I will put a display block to get the output. Yes. So now if we simulate this model now, it will throw an error because why it's not going up, I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. So because these variables are not defined, even if you hover over the block, it says undefined function of variable, because this a is not defined, this x is not defined, and this b is not defined. If I just minimize this and try to see, so let me have this kind of display. Yeah, on the right hand side in the workspace I can see empty, there is no variable is defined. So let's first define these variables in our callbacks. So this is the beauty of callback function, that you can use these kind of callback functions to define parameters or do certain tasks. It's not only to define parameters, but you can also call your ML scripts which can do per particular task at different instances. So you can consider this as a kind of event trigger. So for this example, I'll take this init function. So init function is nothing but this function callback will be called during the initialization of the model. So even if you want, I can just quickly go through this document. It says the same thing. Init function callback is called during the update phase before block parameters are evaluated. So this is important because it will be called before my block parameters are evaluated. That means I have an opportunity to define my block parameters in the init function callback. Many people do get confused that they define block parameters in the start function callback, but that will not work. The reason for that is a start function is called before the simulation phase, that is after the initialization phase. But by this time, our model expects that all the block parameters are evaluated and defined. So if the block parameters are not evaluated and you have defined that parameter in the start function callback, it will give an error. Okay, so let's define in the init function callback. Just select this and then you can type over here. On the top is model initialization function. So let me define variables like a equal to 6 and probably b equal to, I'll keep it simple 1, and x equal to 2. So once I've done it, I just click apply, and now I just save. And if I run it now, even if these are giving error, but it will be successful is what I think. The reason for that is the moment I click on this run button, the state of my model will change into initialization in the first phase, and at that time it will just initialize all these parameters in the workspace. Let's see. If I click here, bingo. So it did not give any error. If I minimize this a little bit here, on the right hand side you can see in the workspace they defined these variables 6, 1 and 2, what we defined in our initialization phase, and it ran and it gave the output. So 6 into 2 is 12 plus 1 13. So that's the correct output. Perfect. So now let's see what let me take one more example in this model callback. So say for example you want to clear these parameters once this stop function is called. So we can do that. We can just have clear a, clear b, and clear x. I think we can give semicolons to be more explicit that the command has ended. Click on this, and now if you run, so did you see something? All these parameters are no more available in the workspace. That's the reason for that is the moment this stop is this simulation stops, it runs this callback and it clears all the variables from the workspace. So sometimes I'm not sure if you have seen some of the third-party tools which gives Simulink models as a toolbox. You won't see any variables in the workspace, and you will keep wondering where the workspace variable has gone, and or probably how did the model executed without having the workspace, having the parameters defined the workspace. So this is the trick they play. They create a variable in the runtime in the some kind of callback function, and they'll clear it before it exits, stops. So this is what the model callbacks are, which I wanted to show very quickly. I will suggest that you should try all these different callbacks. All have their own specific usage. I'm not going in details of each and every callback in this video, but in case you want that, please put in the comment section and I will be happy and glad to provide you more details about each and every callback function available here. And of course you can go to the help documentation provided by MathWorks in their help window. Okay, now let's see about the other callback, which is block level callbacks. So I'll just keep this window open, but I'll do one thing. I'll just probably convert this part into a subsystem. You don't need to convert. Block level callbacks can be applied on any particular block, but to just show you an example, I want to create it as a subsystem. I'm not sure if you guys know, you can just select the blocks which you want to convert into a subsystem, and then this a small icon should pop up where you can select what you want to do with the selected area, whether you want to comment out, whether you want to create it as a function subsystem or enable subsystem or trigger subsystem. But I want to just get a simple subsystem to show this example. I just click here and it got converted into a simple subsystem. If you double click, you can see the things inside. Okay, so I come one level up, and over here what I will do is I'll right click, go to the properties of this block. I'm not sure whether, okay, it's down here, sorry. So once you open the properties, it will open this window of the block properties. So you should go to the third tab, which is called callbacks, and here again you see a long list of callback functions are given there. So some of the callback functions which are available are, say for example, init function, load function again. So I'm not sure which will take a precedence, whether this init function will take a precedence or whether the model init function will take a precedence. But nevertheless, let's do one thing. In our model callback, we have given a equal to 6. Let's give over here in init a equal to 7, and let's see whether it's the value 7 which wins or 6 which wins. And now if we start simulating, so with 6 the value, if my value is 6, the result is 13, because it's 6 multiplied by 2, which is 12, plus 1 13. So if it takes 7, I'm expecting that 7 multiplied by 2, which is 14, plus 1 15. So 15 should be the result. Let me see what happens. Perfect. So you saw that, right? So what it happened? So over here, although in my model callback I was assigning the value a equal to 6, but in the block callback I overwrite that same variable with a equal to 7. And of course you can't see this on the workspace, because in my model callback, in the stop function, it gets cleared at the end. To avoid clear, I will just comment out these lines. You can just put the percentage sign, which is the standard way of doing the commenting in the MATLAB script or MATLAB commands. And now if I rerun my model, where is my model? Yeah, here it is. So now if you see on the right hand side in the workspace, those variables are still reappeared, because it's no more getting cleared, and the value of my parameter is a equal to 7 and not a equal to 6. Similarly, you can again try lots of other callbacks also, like open function callback. This callback is called when you double click and open this particular subsystem. So at that point of time, say for example, now you want to set a equal to 2. So in open function callback. So if I double click and go inside, you will see on the right hand side in the workspace it changed to 2. Even if I'm not sure why it is not opening. Okay, I think it's not opening because this window is open, so we have to first close this, and then if I double click here, okay, I was not sure what is happening, what was the bug, but anyway, so if you see on the right hand side in the workspace, the value got changed to a equal to 2. So this is what I wanted to show you very quickly about the two options which we have: the model level callbacks, which is at the in the file menu, and in the model properties window, you can go to the second tab and you get lots of callbacks options. And the second option is you can right click on any block and go to the properties. Although in this video I showed you with the this subsystem block, but you can also do it for any block. You can do it for even the sum block. You can go to the properties window and use the callbacks functions over there. I repeat, I'm not going into the details of each and every callback operations, what they do, but in case you want more details, please feel free to put in my comment section, and I'll be glad to provide more details on this. And if you have any questions, please let me know in my comment section. I hope this video was useful and helpful to enhance your knowledge of Simulink. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye.